So I haven't done one of these autism spectrum disorder, high functioning autism videos in a while. Usually I need to get some kind of an inspiration or something that I feel is really important to contribute to the discussion. And with this video, I've actually found something I believe is very important. When I talk to a lot of people, or when I have talked to in a lot of past people with high functioning autism, PDD, NOS, Asperger's, a lot of the times they would claim maybe that they hadn't really felt any discrimination or they hadn't been discriminated against. And a lot of that has to do with the way that we think about discrimination. Really, all that discrimination is just treating someone differently for really any reason. And a lot of these people did face discrimination a lot of the time, and most of the discrimination that they experienced was a preferential treatment. This is one of the kind of the hidden things that really contributes to a lot of disability in society in general, disability to cope or function in our society, is that people are given preferential treatment and exceptions are made for them. And this has certainly been true in my life. I've had lots of exceptions made for me because of my neurological differences, and I've been privileged enough to have lots of them available to me. But really, anywhere you go, it seems, in Canada or anywhere I've been, people with high-functioning autism tend to get preferential treatment. A lot of the times when I tell people about my diagnosis, or if they ask about it or something, it comes up in conversation. Their first response is to say that, "Oh, I would have never have guessed. You're so high functioning," and they give me a whole bunch of compliments on how I present myself, based on a lot of stereotypical notions that they have about people with high functioning autism, pervasive developmental disorders, etc. Just people who are different from them. It's really just comes from a lot of unknowns, but really most people with high functioning autism are like any group. There's a lot of diversity in it. But anyway, back on topic. Preferential treatment. I think a good idea to describe what I'm trying to say is to use an example of a person with a disability, and I'm going to use one from my past, from my practicum experience. I had a practicum experience where I was attempting to teach a boy how to do up his zipper on his jacket so that he could go home and not have to have his zipper done up with his mother. And they'd have a hard time doing that for a long time. And a lot of the times the aides, this was a big problem I had with the practicums in general, is the aides, just in the sake of getting the day over with and saving time and just making sure that they got to do all the activities that were planned for the day, get on the schedule, which is a valid concern nonetheless. But I ended up trying to spend a little bit more time just waiting to see if he could figure it out and letting him fail a little bit. And most of the aides, what they do is they'd guide him physically with their arms, and they'd show him how to do zipping up his jacket. And for months they had preferential treatment where they do that, where with another child you would sit, hopefully if you were trying to teach them the correct behavior of zipping up their jacket on their own, make them independent, what you would do is you would assist them when they asked for it, but otherwise you would just observe and maybe offer remarks when they get frustrated, to maybe approach it in a different manner or whatever. And this kind of preferential treatment, in really any case, with people with disabilities or just symptoms that, in general, that are just not very well functioning in society, social interactions especially, when you have somebody that's willing to do that for you, that can be one of the most disabling things in our society, because you never learn to have that independence. And I think that's very hidden in people with high functioning autism, is they get a lot of compliments and support and social things, that people will just give them little exceptions or help them cope with situations that they're anxious about by helping them avoid it rather than to confront it, to encourage them to confront it. And really, as a person, just as a different person, neuroatypical or whatever you want to call it, that's something I'm really trying to do, is trying to identify where the supports that have been given to me have helped me and where the supports have harmed me, and where to revise those supports and ask the people that care about me to maybe revise their idea about how they're supporting me. Support from individual family members and people around you is absolutely essential and not something to be demonized. It's absolutely essential to human beings, and it's something to strive for as well. But you do need to be cautious as to the intents of people as well. It's not necessarily that people who do this have bad intents. It's quite the opposite. Usually it comes from like either a selfless or a selfish intent. Either they want to feel good about themselves for what they've done, or they're actually truly selfless and they're acting from altruism. And I think that's really an important point that I just wanted to bring up. If you guys have any ideas for maybe a little bit more discussion onto the topic, leave it in the comment section down below. Sorry, no video today. My water's shut off, so I have a pretty bad mustache that doesn't look very good, and I just can't shave it for a video. Thank you all for watching, and always take care.